Ray, I'm back in the saddle again. It's been a while, so I figured I'd drop back in. School's starting to wind down a little. I have a little more time. I thought I'd make a video. Obviously, you had two games last week. One against the Bears on Sunday. They lost that game, and then they came back. They played the Texans. I was at that game. That was a little worried when the defense kind of collapsed there for a little while, but I had the feeling the Eagles were going to pull it out anyway, and they did. So they're 8-4 right now. They should have beat the Bears. They really they didn't play well in that game, and there's a lot about this team that we really don't know. I mean, their defense still worries me a little bit. I think their offense is able to overcome their defense right now, but I do think that it's going to end up hurting you later in the playoffs because good teams make the playoffs. I mean, right now they're playing some bad teams. I mean, they've got the Cowboys coming up. The Cowboys are done. There's still going to be tough games. They got two games against the Cowboys, one down in Dallas on Sunday night, and then they have the game here to end the season. They're going to be tough games, but I think for the most part Dallas is done. I don't think Dallas can keep up with the Eagles. Then you got the Giants. The Giants gonna look for some revenge because they lost to the Eagles. It's gonna be really come down to the division. Who's gonna win the division? Whoever wins that game is probably gonna win the division. So you've got that, and then you got the Vikings, who doesn't look like Brett Favre is gonna be playing. I don't know what his injury. I mean, with him, you never know. He could be hurt all week, and then Sunday at 12:55, he could be fine and ready to play. So we really don't know what to expect from this team. 4 games, they should win at least 3 of them. This team, honestly, I mean, they could finish 11-5 and not make the playoffs. I mean, Eagles fans have to realize that right now, that while we're excited about this team, there is a chance this team may not make the playoffs. They have to beat the Giants. That game's the big game. Forget about the Cowboys this week. You really have to think about that Giants game as being the game that they have to win to make the playoffs. They should beat the Cowboys this week. I mean, for 2 reasons. One, they're better than the Cowboys. I mean, it's just facts are facts. They're better than the Dallas Cowboys. Number 2, this team embarrassed you last year. 2 weeks in a row. One, in the last game for the division, you did not show up in that game. And then the very next week, you had a chance for revenge, and you didn't show up in that game either. You should have a fire under your ass. You should want to go down there and beat this team and beat them bad because they're reeling. They may have won 3 games or whatever under Jason Garrett. Good for them. Okay, you're what, 3-8, 3-9, something like that. I don't even care about you guys. You guys are dead last in the division. The Redskins are better than you, and have fun in last place. But let's be realistic here. Your season's over. It's over. And what better way to get revenge on a team than when they're down? To kick them when they're down. Go down there and beat this team so bad that you embarrass them in front of the country on Sunday night. Because they're 3-8, they're 4-8 or whatever, and they're gonna come out on fire. And they want to win this game because they want to beat the Eagles because the Eagles are in first place in the division. So if you're the Eagles, you have to go down there and you have to beat this team. You have to beat them bad, because they don't deserve to be on the same field as you, and they embarrassed you last year. So prove to them that you're the team to beat in the division, and that they don't have any business being in the same stadium as you. And then you come back, go to New York, and beat the Giants. This team has to make a statement in the next 2 weeks, because honestly, they have not looked good in the past 2 weeks. I mean, their offense is okay. I mean, I don't have any problems with the offense, but the defense and the special teams, they need to step up this week. This is their week now, okay? Because, honestly, as bad as the Cowboys are, they've got a good offense. I mean, John Kitten has played well, and they can put up some points. Des Bryant's not playing, but they're still got good wide receivers. They can run the ball. They got a good offensive line. If you don't stop this offense, I mean, you're going to get into a shootout, and I don't want a shootout, okay? I want a nice, easy, relaxed game where I can watch the game and know that the Eagles are going to win. So go down there, beat this team. Defense needs to step up. And that being said, I mean, A 12-4 record would guarantee you a playoff spot. I mean, there's no question about that. You'd win the division, you'd be in the playoffs. But 11-5, if you lose to the Giants, you're in danger of not making the playoffs. So I'm still so hesitant to get excited about this team especially because of what happened in the last weeks. I mean, they gave out 31 points to the Bears. And no offense to the Chicago Bears, but they're not that good either. And you almost won that game. And if you didn't throw that interception, I gotta criticize Vic. If he doesn't throw that interception in the end zone at the end of the first half, they may have won that game. So, all in all, there's a lot left, a lot of season left still. I mean, 4 games. You don't know what you're going to get from the Vikings. The Giants are going to want to beat you, and then you got 2 games against the Cowboys, tough division games, and the Cowboys are always going to play it tough, especially because they've had kind of a bad year, so they want to come out and they want to beat a good team, and the Eagles are that good team that they're going to want to beat. So, I do think the Eagles win this Sunday. I think it'll be a close game, though. I think it's going to be one of those frustrating Eagles games where they find a way to win in the end, but they never can seem to pull away from the Cowboys. It'll be one of those tight games where it looks like they're starting to dominate, and then all of a sudden they let the Cowboys back in the game because that's how they've been playing all year. But I do think they win this game, and I can't wait for that Giants game next week. This game, I mean, you wait all year to play the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys, it's week 14. This is your 13th game of the season, and you're playing the Cowboys, and they are atrocious. They're terrible. I mean, what fun is that? What fun is a rivalry if the Cowboys aren't, in the hunt, in the thick of things? And unfortunately, it's not that way for the Cowboys. It's a little disappointing, especially if we smoke them. It doesn't mean as much when they're 4-8 and nowhere even close to being anything relatively good. But Eagles win this game, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully we can get some help and the Giants lose. But right now we got to take care of our own business. We got to beat the Cowboys, and we got to beat the Giants, and we got to beat the Vikings, and then hopefully that last Cowboys game won't mean anything and we can rest some guys. But big weekend, got to get this win. It's kind of like a bye week. They've got a few extra days off. Maybe that'll rest some guys up. Maybe it'll be a little more fresh, and they can get their mind back on football, because it doesn't look like they had their mind on football this week. I didn't like the way the defense played the past 2 games, but hopefully the time off, maybe Asante coming back. I'm not Asante's biggest fan, but maybe him coming back will give them a little more hitch in their step, and hopefully they get this win, and hopefully we win the division in 2 weeks and end the season on a good note. Let's go, Birds. Let's get this win. I've waited too long for this game.